Hello, and welcome to Sleepy Science by Nemvita. Whether you're listening at the end of a long day or simply letting your thoughts slow down, this is a place where curiosity unfolds gently. There's nothing you need to solve, nothing you need to remember, and nothing you need to focus on. If you notice your attention drifting, that's perfectly fine. Here, we explore one quiet idea at a time, slowly and softly. Let the words become a calm background, and let your body settle into rest. Allow your breathing to soften, slow down, and become quiet, steady, and easy. I'm glad you're here. Now we turn toward something quieter. The plants that have lived alongside people, not as discoveries or breakthroughs, but as familiar presences that simply remained. There are plants that appear in the background of human life so consistently that they stop being noticed as choices. They grow near doorways, along garden edges, in pots on windowsills. They are eaten without ceremony, touched without thought, and passed from one generation to the next, not through instruction, but through repetition. No one remembers when they first arrived, and no one questions why they stay. This is not a story of botany or science. It is a story of familiarity, of the way certain plants became woven into the rhythms of daily life so thoroughly that they feel like they have always been there. And in many cases, they have. Consider basil. It grows in small pots, in gardens, in sunny corners where someone thought to place it. It is picked with fingers, added to food, and replanted the following year. There is no fanfare. Basil does not announce itself. It simply returns, season after season, because someone before decided it was worth keeping close. The same is true of rosemary, of thyme, of parsley. These plants do not demand attention. They grow quietly, waiting to be used or ignored, and they do not seem to mind either outcome. They are present in the same way that certain smells or sounds are present. Not because they are needed, but because they have always been there. This kind of presence is different from importance. Importance suggests urgency, a reason to act. But familiarity does not require urgency. It only requires time. And time is something these plants have had in abundance. For centuries, people have grown lavender near their homes. Not because they were told to, not because it solves a problem, but because it smells a certain way, and that smell became associated with comfort. Lavender does not do anything dramatic. It simply exists, in bunches tied and hung, in small sachets tucked into drawers, in fields that bloom purple and fade again each year. There is no moment when lavender became trusted. It was trusted gradually, over so many repetitions that trust became automatic. A grandmother grew it, her daughter grew it, and now it grows again. Not because anyone decided it should, but because it always has. This is how plants enter human life and remain there, not through decision, but through habit. Mint is another example. It grows almost too easily, spreading across garden beds, appearing in places it was not planted. People pull it, cut it back, and yet it returns. And despite this persistence, or perhaps because of it, mint remains. It is added to water, to food, to small rituals of refreshment. It is not questioned. It is simply there. The relationship between people and mint is not one of control. Mint grows where it wants to grow. But people have learned to expect it, to reach for it when they want something cool and familiar. And so mint stays, not because it is managed, but because it is tolerated, even welcomed, in its unruliness. There is something calming in this. The idea that a plant can be trusted simply because it has been around long enough to become expected. Trust does not always require proof. Sometimes it only requires repetition. Chamomile grows in meadows, in gardens, in places where the soil is loose and the sun is warm. It blooms in small white flowers with yellow centers, unremarkable in appearance, easy to overlook. And yet it has been gathered, dried, and kept for as long as people have kept plants. Chamomile does not insist on itself. It does not grow tall or bold. It is a quiet plant, one that waits to be noticed rather than demanding attention. And when it is noticed, it is often picked, not urgently, but gently, as one might pick something simply because it is there, and it is familiar. The act of picking chamomile has been repeated so many times, across so many generations, that it no longer feels like an action with a purpose. It feels like something people do because it is part of the rhythm of the season. The flowers bloom, they are picked, they are dried, they are stored, and the next year, the same thing happens again. This is the kind of trust that develops not from evidence, but from the comfort of repetition. Chamomile is trusted because it has always been picked, and it has always been picked because it was picked before. There is no urgency in this. There is only the slow accumulation of habit, building quietly over centuries until the habit feels like knowledge. Aloe is another plant that lives close to people. It grows in pots, often indoors, where it asks for very little. It does not need frequent watering. It does not need rich soil. It simply sits, thick and green, in a corner or on a shelf, and it waits. People break off pieces of aloe when they think of it. The gel inside is cool, clear, and slightly sticky. It is applied to skin that has been burned by the sun, or scratched, or irritated. No one remembers who first suggested this. It is simply something people know. Aloe is not dramatic. It does not heal visibly or instantly, but it is cool, and it is soothing. And after it has been used once, it is used again and again, until using aloe becomes automatic, something done without thinking, because it has always been done. This is not about what aloe does. It is about the fact that aloe is there, and it is familiar. And familiarity creates a kind of trust that doesn't need to be explained. The same is true of garlic. Garlic grows in the ground, in bulbs that split into cloves, each one wrapped in papery skin. It is planted in the fall and harvested in the summer, and this cycle has repeated for so long that it feels like part of the earth's own rhythm. Garlic is not subtle. It smells strong. It tastes strong. It announces itself in every dish it touches. And yet it is trusted completely, used without hesitation, because it has been used for so long that its presence feels inevitable. No one questions garlic. No one wonders if it belongs. It is simply part of the food, part of the cooking, part of the daily act of preparing something to eat. And because it has been part of this act for centuries, it remains part of it now. There is comfort in this kind of continuity. The knowledge that garlic was used yesterday, and the day before, and 100 years before that. It creates a sense of connection, not to any specific person, but to the long, quiet line of people who did the same things, in the same ways, for reasons they did not need to explain. Onions are similar. They grow in layers, each one wrapped around the next, and when they are cut, they release a sharpness that makes eyes water. But this does not stop people from cutting them. Onions are used every day, in nearly every part of the world, not because they are special, but because they are dependable. An onion can be stored for weeks. It can be added to almost anything. It does not spoil quickly, and it does not demand special care. It is simply there, waiting to be used, and when it is used, it transforms whatever it touches. Not dramatically, but noticeably. Food tastes different with onion in it. It tastes more complete. This is not about flavor science. It is about the fact that onions have been doing this for so long that their presence in food feels natural. No one wonders if an onion belongs in a pot of soup or a pan of vegetables. It simply does. And so onions remain, grown and stored and used year after year, because they have always been grown and stored and used. The habit has become trust, and the trust requires no explanation. Tomatoes are another plant that people keep close. They grow on vines, heavy and soft, ripening slowly in the sun. A ripe tomato is warm to the touch, its skin tight and thin, its insides full of seeds and juice. Tomatoes are eaten fresh, cooked down, preserved in jars. They are used in so many ways that it is hard to imagine food without them. And yet there was a time when tomatoes were not part of daily life. They were brought from one place to another, planted, tasted, and slowly, gradually, they became familiar. Now they are trusted completely. A garden without tomatoes feels incomplete. A kitchen without tomatoes feels underprepared. They have been absorbed into the rhythm of eating so thoroughly that they no longer feel like something that was added. They feel like something that was always there. This is the quiet power of familiarity. It erases the memory of arrival. It makes the unfamiliar feel inevitable. Cucumbers grow quickly, sprawling across the ground in vines that reach and tangle. They are picked when they are still firm, still crisp, before they grow too large and bitter. A fresh cucumber is cool inside, even on a hot day. It is mostly water, mostly texture, and it is eaten for that, for the crunch, for the coolness, for the simplicity of it. Cucumbers do not do much. They do not transform a meal. They do not carry strong flavor. But they are refreshing, and that is enough. They have been grown and eaten for so long that they no longer need to justify their presence. They are simply part of the landscape of food, expected and unremarkable. And in that unremarkableness, there is trust. Cucumbers are trusted because they are predictable. They grow the same way each year. They taste the same. They offer the same quiet refreshment. And because they have done this reliably over and over, they remain. Carrots grow underground, hidden from sight until they are pulled. They are roots, thick and tapered, bright orange or deep purple or pale yellow depending on the variety. They store well. They last through winter. They can be eaten raw or cooked, sweet or savory, and they adapt to whatever is asked of them. Carrots do not insist on a specific use. They fit into many contexts, many meals, many traditions. And because they are so adaptable, they have been kept close for centuries. They are reliable, they are familiar, and they are trusted in the way that anything familiar is trusted, without question, without hesitation. You may feel your thoughts beginning to wander now. That is expected. There is no need to hold on to every detail. These plants are not going anywhere. They have been here for centuries, and they will remain, whether you are paying attention or not. Let your mind rest where it wants to rest. There is no urgency here, only the slow, steady presence of plants that have lived alongside people for so long that they feel like part of the landscape itself. The plants continue as they always have, growing in the same places, following the same patterns, asking for very little in return. Potatoes grow beneath the soil, hidden and patient. They form in clusters, small tubers that swell slowly in the dark earth, waiting to be dug up. There is something reassuring about a potato. Its weight, its solidity, the way it can be stored for months in a cool, dark place and remain unchanged. A potato does not spoil quickly. It does not demand to be eaten immediately. It simply waits. And when it is finally cooked, it transforms. It becomes soft, starchy, filling. It absorbs whatever flavors surround it, taking on salt, butter, herbs, or nothing at all. A potato can be plain and still be satisfying. This adaptability is part of why potatoes have remained so constant in human life. They fit into nearly every kind of meal, every kind of climate, every kind of season. They are not precious, they are not delicate. They are sturdy, dependable, and they have been trusted for so long that their presence in a kitchen feels automatic. No one questions a potato. It is simply there, part of the background of food, part of the rhythm of eating. And because it has been there for so long, it will likely remain. Beans grow on vines or bushes, their pods hanging in long rows, swelling as the seeds inside mature. Some beans are eaten fresh, the whole pod snapped and cooked while still green. Others are left to dry, their pods turning brown and brittle, the seeds inside hardening into small, smooth ovals that can be stored for years. Dried beans are one of the oldest forms of food preservation. They require no refrigeration, no canning, no special treatment. They are simply dried, stored, and kept until they are needed. And when they are needed, they are soaked, cooked slowly, and softened into something filling and warm. Beans do not taste dramatic. They are mild, earthy, a background flavor that supports rather than dominates. But they are filling in a way that few other plants are. They carry weight, substance, a sense of completeness. And because of this, they have been grown and stored and eaten for as long as people have needed food that lasts. There is comfort in the simplicity of beans. They do not require explanation. They do not need to be dressed up or transformed. They are what they are, and that has always been enough. Peas are similar, though softer, sweeter. They grow in pods that split open easily, revealing small, round seeds lined up in neat rows. Fresh peas are tender, almost delicate, and they are eaten quickly before they lose their sweetness. But peas can also be dried, stored, and used later, just like beans. The act of shelling peas is one that has been repeated countless times in countless kitchens across countless generations. It is a slow task, meditative in its repetition. The pods are snapped open, the peas tumbled out into a bowl, and the empty pods discarded. It does not require thought. It only requires time. And in that time, there is a kind of peace. The hands are busy, but the mind is free to wander. The peas are shelled, and when they are done, they are cooked, and they taste the way they have always tasted. Sweet, soft, familiar. This is the kind of task that connects one moment to another, one person to another. The act of shelling peas today is the same act that was done yesterday, and 100 years before that. And in that sameness, there is continuity. Lettuce grows in loose heads or tight bundles, its leaves crisp and pale green or deep purple. It is harvested young, before it bolts and turns bitter, and it is eaten fresh, often within hours of being picked. Lettuce does not last long. It wilts quickly, loses its crispness, becomes limp and unappetizing. But while it is fresh, lettuce is refreshing. It is cool, light, almost flavorless, and it provides texture more than taste. It is a base, a vessel, something that holds other flavors together without competing with them. Lettuce has been grown in gardens for centuries, not because it is essential, but because it is easy. It grows quickly, requires little care, and provides something green and fresh at a time of year when fresh things are welcome. It is not stored. It is not preserved. It is simply eaten, and then it is gone, and then it is planted again. This cycle repeats every year, and in that repetition, lettuce has become expected. A garden feels incomplete without it. A meal feels unfinished without something green and crisp. And so lettuce remains, grown and eaten and forgotten, and grown again. Spinach is darker, denser, more substantial than lettuce. Its leaves are thicker, and when they are cooked, they shrink dramatically, collapsing into a soft, dark mass that is almost black-green. Fresh spinach is tender, slightly sweet, and it can be eaten raw or cooked, depending on preference. Spinach does not demand attention. It grows quietly in cool weather, and it is harvested before the heat arrives and makes it bitter. It is washed, sorted, and eaten, and it provides something green and dense at a time when other plants are not yet ready. There is nothing dramatic about spinach. It is simply there, reliably, year after year, offering something familiar and expected. And because it has been there so long, it is trusted in the same way that anything familiar is trusted, without question, without hesitation. Cabbage is heavier, tougher, more enduring. It grows in tight heads, its leaves wrapped layer upon layer, protecting the pale, crisp center. Cabbage can be stored for months in a cool place, and it does not soften or spoil easily. It is one of the most reliable plants for winter storage, and because of this, it has been kept close for centuries. Cabbage can be eaten raw, shredded into thin strips, or cooked slowly until it softens and sweetens. It can be fermented, turned into something sour and tangy that lasts even longer. It is adaptable, patient, and dependable. There is no excitement in cabbage. It is plain, humble, unremarkable in appearance. But it is always there when it is needed, and that reliability has made it one of the most trusted plants in human life. It does not fail. It does not disappoint. It simply exists, year after year, providing what it has always provided. Beets grow beneath the soil, their round roots swelling slowly, their green tops waving above ground. When they are pulled, their roots are deep red or golden or striped, and they stain everything they touch. Beets are earthy, sweet, dense, and they divide opinion. Some people love them, others do not. But regardless of opinion, beets have remained. They are grown, harvested, cooked, and stored because they are reliable. They grow well in cool weather. They store well in the ground, even after frost. They can be left in the soil and dug up as needed, which makes them practical, dependable. Beets do not insist on being loved. They simply exist, and for those who grow them, they provide something sweet and earthy at a time when fresh food is scarce, and that is enough. Radishes grow quickly, sometimes in just a few weeks, and they are pulled when they are still small and crisp. They are sharp, peppery, almost spicy, and they are eaten raw, sliced thin, or left whole. A radish does not soften with cooking. It is meant to be crisp, meant to snap between the teeth. Radishes are one of the first plants to be harvested in spring, appearing before most other vegetables are ready. They are quick, easy, and they provide something fresh and bright after the long, slow months of winter. They are not stored. They are not preserved. They are simply eaten and enjoyed. And then they are gone. But the next year, they return, and the year after that, And because they are so quick, so easy, so reliably early, they have remained a constant presence in gardens for centuries. Turnips are similar in shape, but different in flavor. They are pale, cream-colored or purple-topped, and they grow slowly, swelling in the cool months. Turnips can be stored through winter, and they are eaten cooked, softened until they are tender and mild. Turnips are not glamorous. They are plain, humble, often overlooked in favor of more exciting vegetables. But they are reliable. They grow well in poor soil. They tolerate frost. They store well. And because of this, they have been kept close, especially in places where winters are long and food must last. There is no drama in a turnip, but there is dependability. And dependability, over time, becomes trust. Parsnips are pale, long, and sweet. They look like white carrots, and they grow slowly, taking their time to mature. Parsnips are best after the first frost, which converts their starches into sugars and makes them sweeter. They are pulled in late fall or even winter, and they are cooked slowly, roasted or mashed, until they are soft and caramelized. Parsnips are not common in every kitchen, but in places where they grow well, they are trusted. They are sweet without being fruit. They are filling without being heavy. And they provide something comforting at a time of year when comfort is needed. You may notice that your attention is beginning to drift. That is natural. These plants are not urgent. They are not asking for anything. They are simply here, as they have always been, growing quietly, waiting to be noticed or ignored. There is no need to hold on to every detail. Let your mind rest where it wants to rest. These plants will remain, whether you are thinking about them or not. Squash grows on sprawling vines, its fruit heavy and varied. Some squash are small, delicate, meant to be eaten fresh. Others are large, hard-skinned, meant to be stored for months. Winter squash can last through the coldest months, sitting in a cool, dark place, waiting to be cooked. When squash is finally cooked, it softens, sweetens, becomes dense and filling. It can be mashed, roasted, or baked, and it adapts to whatever is asked of it. Squash is not flashy, it is not exciting, but it is dependable. And it lasts, and that has made it a constant presence in human life for centuries. Pumpkins are a type of squash, large and orange and round. They grow slowly, ripening in the fall, and they are used in the same way as other winter squash, cooked, mashed, stored. But pumpkins also carry a certain familiarity, a sense of season and ritual that goes beyond their use as food. Pumpkins are part of the landscape of autumn. They appear in fields, on porches, in windows. They are carved, decorated, and displayed. And then, eventually, they are eaten. Or they are composted, their seeds saved for planting the next year. This cycle has repeated for so long that pumpkins feel like part of the rhythm of the year itself. They are expected, they are familiar, and because they are familiar, they are trusted. The plants continue to grow, season after season, in the same quiet way they have always grown, asking nothing, offering what they have always offered. Corn grows tall, its stalks reaching upward, its leaves rustling in the wind. The ears form slowly, wrapped in layers of husk, protected until they are ready. Corn has been grown for thousands of years, and in that time, it has changed. People selected seeds from the plants that grew best, that tasted sweetest, that produced the most, and over generations, corn became what it is now: tall, productive, adaptable. But the act of growing corn has remained largely the same. Seeds are planted in rows. The stalks grow through spring and summer. The ears are picked in late summer or early fall, and they are eaten fresh or dried or ground into meal. And the next year, the cycle begins again. Corn does not ask for much. It needs sun, water, and time. And in return, it provides something filling, something that can be eaten in dozens of ways, something that lasts. Dried corn can be stored for years. It can be ground into flour, soaked and cooked, or popped over heat until it bursts into something light and airy. There is a steadiness to corn. It has been planted and harvested for so long that it feels like part of the land itself, part of the rhythm of the seasons. And because it has been there so long, it is trusted completely. Rice grows in water, its roots submerged, its stalks rising above the surface. It is a plant that requires patience, careful tending, and the right conditions. But where those conditions exist, rice has been grown for thousands of years, and it has fed more people than perhaps any other plant. Rice is simple. It is small, white or brown, each grain slender and smooth. It is cooked in water until it softens, and then it is eaten, plain or with other foods, as a base, a foundation. Rice does not have a strong flavor. It does not insist on itself. It simply absorbs, supports, and fills. In many parts of the world, rice is eaten every day, sometimes multiple times a day. It is not questioned. It is not analyzed. It is simply there, part of the structure of meals, part of the rhythm of eating. And because it has been there so long, it feels essential. But rice was not always everywhere. It traveled slowly, carried by people who planted it in new places, who learned how to grow it in different soils, different climates. And over time, it became familiar in those places too. It became expected. It became trusted. This is how plants move through the world, not through sudden arrival, but through slow adoption, through repetition, through the gradual accumulation of habit. Wheat grows in fields, golden and dry, swaying in the wind. The stalks are thin, the heads heavy with seeds, and when the wheat is ripe, it is cut, threshed, and ground into flour. Wheat has been ground into flour for thousands of years, and that flour has been mixed with water and baked into bread. Bread is one of the oldest forms of prepared food. It is simple: flour, water, sometimes salt, sometimes yeast. But in that simplicity, there is something deeply familiar. The smell of bread baking is a smell that carries memory, association, comfort. It is a smell that has been part of human life for so long that it feels universal. Wheat itself is not eaten whole, not in the way that rice or corn can be. It must be processed, ground, transformed. But once it becomes flour, it becomes the foundation for countless foods. Bread, pasta, cakes, pastries. It is versatile, reliable, and it has been trusted for so long that it feels like part of the structure of food itself. There is no drama in wheat. It grows quietly in fields, ripens under the sun, and is harvested when the time comes. And then it is ground and used, and the next year it is planted again. Oats grow in cooler climates, their seeds loose and light, hanging in delicate clusters. Oats are harvested, dried, and hulled, and then they are rolled or cut into flakes. They are cooked slowly in water or milk until they soften into a warm, creamy porridge. Oats are plain. They do not have a strong flavor. They are filling, comforting, and simple. And because of this, they have been eaten for centuries, especially in places where the climate is too cool for wheat or corn to thrive. There is something grounding about oats. They are slow food, requiring time to cook, time to eat. They are not rushed. They are not flashy. They are simply there, warm and filling, offering something steady at the beginning of the day. And because they have been there so long, they are trusted. No one questions oats. They are simply part of the background, part of the quiet rhythm of meals that repeat day after day, year after year. Barley is similar, though harder, chewier. It grows in the same cool climates as oats, and it is used in soups, stews, and porridges. Barley takes a long time to cook, longer than most grains, but once it softens, it adds texture, substance, a slight nutty flavor. Barley has been grown for thousands of years. It is one of the oldest cultivated grains, and it has remained in use not because it is special, but because it is reliable. It grows well in poor soil. It tolerates cold, it stores well, and because of these qualities, it has been kept close, especially in places where other grains struggle. There is no excitement in barley, but there is dependability. And over time, dependability becomes something more than practicality. It becomes familiarity, and familiarity becomes trust. Rye grows in cold climates, in sandy or poor soil, where other grains cannot thrive. It is hardy, resilient, and it produces a dark, dense flour that is used to make bread. Rye bread is heavier than wheat bread, darker, with a slightly sour flavor. It does not rise as high. It does not soften as much. But it lasts longer, stays fresh longer, and it fills in a way that lighter breads do not. Rye has been eaten in northern and eastern regions for centuries, not because it is preferred, but because it is what grows. And over time, what grows becomes what is eaten, and what is eaten becomes familiar. And what is familiar becomes trusted. This is the quiet logic of plants and people. Not preference, but proximity. Not choice, but repetition. Flax grows tall and slender, its flowers small and blue. It is grown not primarily for food, though its seeds are edible, but for fiber. The stalks of flax are soaked, beaten, and spun into linen thread, which is then woven into cloth. Linen is one of the oldest textiles, and it has been made the same way for thousands of years. The process is slow, labor-intensive, and it has not changed much. But the result is fabric that is cool, strong, and long-lasting. Linen softens with use, becoming more comfortable the more it is worn and washed. Flax is not a showy plant. It does not demand attention. But it has been grown and processed and woven for so long that it feels like part of the fabric of daily life, literally. And because it has been there so long, it is trusted. The seeds of flax are small, brown, and smooth. They can be eaten whole or ground into meal, and they have a mild, slightly nutty flavor. They are sometimes added to bread, sprinkled on porridge, or pressed into oil. But flax is not grown primarily for its seeds. It is grown for its fiber, for the fabric it becomes, for the cloth that lasts. Cotton is another fiber plant, though it grows in warmer climates. The cotton plant produces bolls, soft white tufts that burst open when they are ripe. The cotton is picked, cleaned, spun into thread, and woven into fabric. Cotton fabric is soft, breathable, and it has been worn for thousands of years. Cotton, like linen, is not food, but it is part of daily life in a way that is so constant, so expected, that it is rarely noticed. Clothes are made of cotton. Bedding is made of cotton. Towels, blankets, bags, all cotton. It is everywhere, and because it is everywhere, it is trusted. The relationship between people and cotton is not one of choice. It is one of availability, of repetition, of the slow accumulation of habit. Cotton is grown, spun, woven, and worn. And this cycle has repeated so many times that it feels inevitable. Hemp is another fiber plant, taller and coarser than flax or cotton. It grows quickly, requires little care, and produces strong, durable fiber that can be woven into rope, cloth, or paper. Hemp has been used for thousands of years, and it has served many purposes. Sails for ships, rope for rigging, cloth for sacks and clothing. Hemp is not delicate. It is tough, practical, built to last. And because it is so durable, it has been trusted for tasks that require strength and reliability. It is not beautiful, it is not soft, but it is dependable. And dependability in the world of plants is often more valuable than beauty. Nettles grow wild in ditches and hedgerows and abandoned fields. They are covered in tiny hairs that sting when touched, releasing a sharp, burning sensation that lingers. But despite this, nettles have been gathered for centuries, and they have been eaten, brewed, and used in cloth. The sting of nettles disappears when they are cooked. The leaves soften, become mild, and they can be eaten like spinach or added to soups. Nettle leaves are gathered in spring when they are young and tender, and they are cooked quickly before they grow tough. Nettles are not cultivated. They are not planted. They simply grow wherever they are allowed to grow, and they are gathered by those who know them. And because they have been gathered for so long, they are trusted, despite the sting. This is the kind of knowledge that is passed quietly, without instruction. Someone shows someone else which leaves to pick, when to pick them, how to avoid the sting. and that knowledge is passed again and again until it becomes part of the background of living in a place. Dandelions grow in lawns, in fields, in cracks in pavement. They are considered weeds by many, pulled and discarded, but they are also edible, and they have been eaten for centuries. The young leaves are bitter, sharp, and they can be added to salads or cooked like greens. The roots can be roasted and ground into a dark, bitter powder. The flowers can be picked and used in various ways. Dandelions are not cultivated. They are not planted. They simply appear year after year, persistent and unstoppable. And because they are so persistent, they have been used, not out of necessity, but out of proximity. They are there, and so they are gathered. This is another kind of trust, the trust that comes not from intention, but from availability. Dandelions are trusted because they are always there, whether they are wanted or not. You may find your thoughts beginning to wander again. That is expected. There is no urgency here, no need to hold on to every detail. These plants are not going anywhere. They have been here for centuries, and they will remain, growing quietly, whether you are paying attention or not. Let your mind rest. Let it drift. These plants do not need your focus. They only need time, and time is something they have in abundance. The plants remain, as they always have, part of the landscape, part of the rhythm of seasons, part of the quiet background of daily life. Clover grows low to the ground, spreading in thick mats across fields and lawns. Its leaves are divided into 3 small leaflets, and its flowers are small, round, pink or white or purple. Clover is not usually eaten by people, though it can be. It is mild, slightly sweet, and the flowers can be pulled and tasted one by one, a small burst of nectar on the tongue. But clover is grown more often for animals, for livestock that graze in fields. It is nutritious, easy to grow, and it spreads quickly, filling spaces where other plants might struggle. Clover also enriches the soil, pulling nitrogen from the air and fixing it in the ground, making the soil better for whatever is planted next. This is a quiet service, one that happens without announcement, without drama. Clover simply grows, and in growing, it improves the place where it grows. And because it does this reliably, year after year, it has been trusted, planted, and allowed to spread. There is no fanfare in clover. It is small, humble, often overlooked. But it is there, doing what it has always done, and that is enough. Sorrel grows wild and in gardens, its leaves bright green and shaped like arrowheads. When chewed, sorrel is sharp, tangy, almost sour, and it adds a burst of acidity to salads or soups. Sorrel is not common in every kitchen, but in places where it grows, it is gathered, used, and expected. Sorrel returns every year, even without being planted. It spreads quietly, appearing in the same places season after season. And because it is so reliable, so predictable, it has been trusted by those who know it. This is the kind of plant that is not learned from books or instructions. It is learned from proximity, from living in a place long enough to notice what grows there, what returns, what can be used. And once it is learned, it is passed on quietly through example rather than explanation. There are other plants like this, plants that appear without invitation, that grow in the margins, in the spaces between what is cultivated and what is wild. They are pulled by some, gathered by others, and the difference between the two is often only a matter of familiarity. What is familiar becomes usable, and what is usable becomes trusted. This knowledge moves slowly through generations. A grandmother knows which leaves to pick in spring. She shows her daughter, not through formal instruction, but through the simple act of picking them herself, year after year. The daughter watches, and eventually she picks them too. And later, without thinking, she shows her own children in the same way, through the same quiet repetition. This is how knowledge accumulates, not through writing, not through teaching, but through proximity, through repetition, through the slow layering of habit upon habit until the habit becomes indistinguishable from instinct. The plants do not change. They grow in the same places, bloom at the same times, offer the same things they have always offered. And the people who live near them notice or do not notice, gather or do not gather, but the plants remain, indifferent to attention, continuing in their own rhythm regardless. There is something comforting in this indifference. The plants do not need to be noticed. They do not need to be used. They simply exist, and their existence continues whether it is acknowledged or not. And in that continuation, there is a kind of trust. Not the trust that comes from usefulness, but the trust that comes from constancy. The trust that what was there yesterday will be there tomorrow. That what grew last year will grow again this year. That the rhythm will continue, slow and steady, whether anyone is paying attention or not. Elderberries grow on shrubs, small and dark, clustered in heavy bunches. The berries ripen in late summer, turning from green to deep purple-black, and they hang from the branches, waiting to be picked. Elderberries are not sweet. They are tart, slightly bitter, and they must be cooked before they are eaten. Elderberries have been gathered for centuries, cooked down into syrups, jams, and preserves. The berries themselves are small, mostly seed, but when they are cooked with sugar, they become something rich, dark, and deeply flavored. The elder shrub is common in hedgerows, along roadsides, in the edges of fields. It is not cultivated, not planted, but it is recognized. And when the berries ripen, they are gathered because they have always been gathered. This is another kind of trust. The trust that comes from repetition, from the knowledge that this plant has been used before, many times, and it can be used again. The flowers of the elder shrub bloom in early summer, before the berries appear. They are small, white, and fragrant, clustered in flat, umbrella-like heads. The flowers can be picked, shaken free of insects, and used in various ways. They are sometimes dipped in batter and fried, or steeped in water to make a light, floral drink. Elderflowers are delicate, ephemeral. They last only a short time, and then they are gone, replaced by the green berries that will ripen months later. But while they are there, they are gathered, used, and enjoyed, because that is what has always been done. There is no instruction manual for elderflowers. There is only habit, passed quietly from one person to another, from one season to the next. And this is true of many plants. They are known not through study, but through living near them, through watching them grow, bloom, fruit, and fade, through the slow accumulation of observation, repeated year after year, until the observation becomes knowledge without ever being named as such. This kind of knowledge does not feel like knowledge. It feels like familiarity. It feels like something that has always been known, even though it was once learned. And because it feels this way, it is passed on in the same quiet manner, through presence, through repetition, through the simple act of doing something the same way it was done before. The plants continue their cycles. They grow, bloom, seed, and rest. And then they grow again. And in this continuation, there is a rhythm that is older than any individual person, older than any single generation. It is a rhythm that connects backward through time, linking the present moment to countless other moments that came before, all of them similar, all of them part of the same slow, steady pattern. You may find yourself drifting now, your thoughts moving slowly, your focus softening. That is natural. There is no need to hold on. These plants are not asking for your attention. They are simply here, as they have always been, growing quietly, waiting or not waiting, indifferent to whether they are noticed. Let your mind rest. Let it wander. There is no urgency, no deadline, no need to remember every detail. These plants will remain, whether you are thinking about them or not. The plants grow in soil that has been here longer than they have, longer than any of the people who have lived near them. The soil itself is built from time, from the slow breaking down of rock, the decay of countless generations of plants and animals, the accumulation of organic matter, layer upon layer, century after century. Soil is not dramatic. It does not announce itself. It is simply there, beneath everything, holding the roots, providing what is needed for growth. And it does this quietly, without fanfare, without expectation of recognition. The roots of plants reach down into this soil, spreading through the darkness, feeling their way through spaces between particles of sand and clay and silt. The roots are hidden, unseen, and they do their work in silence. They draw water upward. They pull nutrients from the soil. They anchor the plant in place, holding it steady against wind and rain. This happens slowly. Roots do not grow quickly. They extend gradually, a little at a time, branching and dividing, creating networks that spread through the soil in patterns that mirror the branches above ground. But the roots are never seen. They exist in darkness, in dampness, in the cool, quiet space beneath the surface. And in that darkness, they continue. They grow whether it is day or night, whether it is summer or winter, though more slowly in the cold. They grow without light, without attention, without anyone knowing they are there. This is the part of the plant that is most constant. The leaves may fall, the flowers may fade, the fruit may be picked or left to rot, but the roots remain, holding on, continuing their slow work beneath the surface. There is something reassuring in knowing that this work continues, even when it cannot be seen. That beneath the visible world, beneath the surface of things, there is movement, growth, continuation. Not fast, not urgent, but steady. Always steady. Soil changes, but it changes slowly. It becomes richer or poorer depending on what grows in it, what is taken from it, what is returned to it. But these changes happen over years, over decades, and they are not visible from one season to the next. The soil appears the same, feels the same, and yet it is always shifting, always transforming in ways too slow to see. This is the rhythm of the earth, not the quick rhythm of growth and bloom, but the deeper, slower rhythm of accumulation and decay, of building and breaking down, of continuity that persists beneath all the visible changes. When a leaf falls, it does not disappear. It rests on the surface of the soil, and slowly, over weeks and months, it begins to break down. The edges curl, the color fades, the structure softens, and eventually, the leaf becomes part of the soil itself, indistinguishable from the ground it fell upon. This happens to everything, eventually. What grows returns, what rises falls, what blooms fades, and all of it, in time, becomes soil again. The cycle is so slow, so gradual, that it is easy to forget it is happening. But it is always happening, beneath the surface, in the darkness, in the quiet spaces where nothing is rushed. The seasons turn and the plants respond. In spring, they grow. In summer, they bloom. In autumn, they fruit. In winter, they rest. And then the cycle begins again. This has happened so many times that it no longer feels like a cycle. It feels like the way things are. Inevitable. Unchanging. But even this rhythm is not truly unchanging. It shifts slightly from year to year. Some years are wetter, some drier. Some springs arrive early, some late. And the plants adjust, growing a little faster or slower, blooming a little sooner or later, adapting to the conditions they are given. But these adjustments are small. The overall pattern remains. Spring follows winter. Summer follows spring. The plants grow, and they rest, and they grow again. And in this pattern, there is a kind of reassurance. The knowledge that the rhythm will continue, that the seasons will turn, that what grew last year will likely grow again this year. Not because it is guaranteed, but because it has happened so many times before that it feels dependable. The darkness beneath the soil is constant. It does not change with the seasons. It is always dark, always cool, always damp. And in that darkness, the roots continue their slow work, unseen and unnoticed. Above ground, the world changes. Light comes and goes. Temperatures rise and fall. Rain comes or does not come. But beneath the surface, the conditions remain more stable. The soil insulates, it protects, it provides a place where growth can continue even when the surface world is harsh. This is the hidden part of the relationship between plants and the earth. The part that is never seen, never noticed, but always present. The roots and the soil, working together in silence, in darkness, in a rhythm that has repeated for longer than anyone can remember. And this work continues whether anyone is watching or not. The plants do not need an audience. They do not need acknowledgement. They simply grow because that is what they do. And they have been doing it for so long that it no longer feels like a choice. It simply is. The night falls and the plants continue. They do not stop growing when the sun sets. They do not pause when darkness comes. They continue in the same way they continued during the day, though more slowly, more quietly, in the cool stillness of the night. And in that stillness there is a kind of peace, the knowledge that growth doesn't require attention, that life continues in the darkness, in the silence, in the spaces where no one is looking. Night is when the world becomes quieter. The sounds of the day fade. The light softens and then disappears. And in that absence of light, in that reduction of noise, there is a different kind of presence. Not emptiness, but fullness. A fullness that is felt rather than seen. The soil breathes in its own way. Air moves through the spaces between particles. Water seeps downward, drawn by gravity, spreading slowly through the earth. And the roots continue their work, reaching, branching, holding. There is no urgency in any of this, no deadline, no rush, only the slow, patient continuation of processes that have been happening for as long as there has been soil, as long as there have been plants. And this continuation does not depend on anyone noticing it. It does not depend on anyone caring. It simply happens, reliably, steadily, in the same way it has always happened. The seasons turn slowly. One day does not look much different from the day before. One week is much like the last. But over time, over the accumulation of many days, many weeks, changes become visible. The green deepens, the buds swell, the flowers open, and then, later, they close. The leaves turn, the stems dry, and the cycle moves forward imperceptibly until suddenly it has moved a great distance. But in any single moment, nothing seems to be happening. There is only stillness, only the quiet presence of things as they are. The soil holds everything. It holds the roots, the seeds, the nutrients, the water. It holds the memory of what has grown before, the remnants of plants that have lived and died and returned to the earth. And it will hold what grows next and what grows after that in a continuation that extends far beyond any individual plant, any individual season. This is the deepest rhythm. Not the rhythm of bloom and fade, but the rhythm of the earth itself, slow and patient and endless. The rhythm that continues in darkness, in silence, in the spaces beneath the surface where nothing is seen but everything is held. And the plants grow, and they rest, and they grow again. And the soil receives them, and holds them and releases them, in a cycle that has no beginning and no ending, only continuation. There is comfort in this, in the knowledge that the earth continues its work whether anyone is watching or not. That growth happens in darkness as well as light. That what appears to be stillness is actually movement, so slow that it cannot be perceived in a single moment, but undeniable over time. The roots extend slowly in the darkness. They do not hurry, they do not pause. They simply continue, reaching through the soil, finding their way through the spaces, drawn by water, by nutrients, by the simple pull of growth itself. And above ground, the plants stand, or sprawl, or climb, depending on their nature. But all of them are connected to the earth through these hidden roots, through this network that exists in darkness, in silence, in the cool dampness beneath the surface. This connection is constant. It does not waver. It does not change. As long as the plant lives, the roots remain, doing their work, holding on, continuing. And when the plant dies, when it fades and falls and returns to the soil, the roots remain a little longer, breaking down more slowly than the leaves, the stems, the flowers. And eventually, they too become soil. They too return. And in that return, they provide what the next generation of roots will need. This is how the cycle continues. Not through intention, not through planning, but through the simple, inevitable process of growth and decay, of rising and falling, of continuation that requires no effort because it is built into the nature of things. The night deepens. The darkness becomes complete. And in that darkness, the world does not stop. It only becomes quieter, slower, more still. But beneath that stillness, there is movement. Beneath that silence, there is life, continuing, always continuing, and the soil holds it all. Patient, silent, enduring, waiting for nothing, expecting nothing, simply being what it has always been. The place where things grow, the place where things return, the place where everything is held in darkness, in coolness, in the quiet that has no end.